everyone, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel, Never Out of Books. Today's brought to you by Big Hair because I still haven't had a haircut since before COVID. I want to say in January, so it's been like almost 9 months and it's all frizz. I've decided that the Fall Into Reading challenge that I'm doing, since it's like a 3-month challenge, that I'm gonna have to break up my wrap-ups a little bit just because of the way I'm reading and stuff. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently than what I've done. So this will be my first part of my wrap up. I think I'll be doing about 6 books here. The first book I read was for the sequel prompt, and that is Janet Evanovich Twisted 26. It's the 26th novel in the Stephanie Plum series, this one came out last year. And for the past bunch of years, I feel like these books have been very cookie cutter and lackluster. And the things that, I used to find funny were no longer funny. And I really wasn't into reading this book, but I said, well, let's have at it. Especially when I saw that the title of the one for this year was breaking the tradition of having the number in the title. So I was kind of like, So I read this, and this one was so much better. For those of you who don't know, this series follows Stephanie Plum, who is a bounty hunter, basically. Not her preferred choice of career, but she kind of falls into it. And it's all very humorous and lighthearted and out of this world. Like, it's totally not based on reality in any way. And then her love interest, a cop, and a bounty hunter turned security owner. And then it has a very wide cast of hilarious characters in it. And it's all very funny, and they're all little mysteries. And bad things always happen to her. But this one, I felt like finally, for the first time in like 6 or 7 years of these books coming out, Stephanie had a bit of character growth. And was about ready to grow up a little bit, which was something I've been waiting for. It makes me a little crazy when authors continue series and these characters are like forever young and never grow, and it's the same cookie cutter thing. And this was becoming this, and thankfully we had a bit of a change, and I was pleased. I gave this one 4 stars. For the prompt graphic novel, I read The Tea Dragon Festival, which I don't know if you can see the cover of it. I got this from my library on Hoopla. This is the second, more of a companion novel to the Tea Dragon Society. And they are middle grade fantasy, and they are absolutely adorable. I love the art style in here. The story can sometimes be a little lacking, but I'm not a graphic novel reader, so I kind of struggle with them a little bit. But this was about tea and dragons, and these little dragons grow like tea on their backs. And they are very, very, very temperamental little things. And the whole thing is adorable. There is a lot of diversity in this, if you can call it diversity, because I don't believe it takes place on Earth. I appreciated it and gave it 4 stars. Next up, I read for the thriller prompt for Fall Into Reading, I read The Word Exchange by Elena Graydon. And this is, it says right up on here, a nervy, nerdy, dystopic thriller. I didn't get this book, and I didn't really like it. I still don't know if I could even tell you what it's about. Like, it's like AI, and people put things in their eyes, and the technology is growing, and like a virus comes in and people start forgetting words. Yeah, it was kind of weird, and the writing wasn't really good, and it really wasn't for me, and I feel kind of bad, but I didn't like it. For the young adult prompt, I read Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. I loved this. This was great. So this is set in a fantasy universe where people's last names mean they have some sort of talent. And there's a couple of different little plot lines going on in here, and I just cannot explain them all just because I can't even get my head around it, and I'm like too excited to even be showing you this book. But this follows N, Salta, which means she's supposed to be a dancer, and she comes to find her adopted mother who has disappeared into this like city of sin. It's like a Vegas, you know, with the card games and all of that, and just it's a seedy underworld kind of story. She falls in with, of course, a boy. There's always a boy, right? And the card game aspect of this really only comes in at the end of the book, so I just don't want to talk about that. But the process of her trying to find her adopted mother and what's going on there, and the friendships and things that start to happen, and the things she learns about herself. And I went and bought the other two books, and I'm looking forward to reading them. And I know I'm not describing this book very well, but it was a bit complicated. It's one of those where I had to write down characters' names in my bullet journal to kind of keep people straight. For the prompt author of color, I picked up Miracle Creek by Angie Kim. Angie Kim is from South Korea. And this is a mystery thriller. This one was very interesting, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I ended up giving it 4 stars. This is one of those books where you know what happened, but you don't know how it happened, and that slowly gets revealed through courtroom testimony through the book to see who did it. So an immigrant family runs this pressurized oxygen chamber sort of deal that's supposed to help heal, autism and all kinds of diseases, and people pay to come there. And one night there is a fire there and a death of an autistic boy. The mother is accused of setting this fire, and you find out whether or not that is the truth by the end of the book. I enjoy books like this a lot. I am not good at guessing endings, so I did not guess what the ending of this was and who did it. So that was good. It surprised me. For the mystery prompt, I read The Loch Ness Papers, a Scottish bookshop mystery series. It's number 4 by Paige Sheldon. This series follows Delaney Nichols, who immigrates from the United States to Scotland to work at a very unusual bookstore for very unusual people. And she gets kind of sucked into solving murders. Gets involved in very intriguing situations. This one actually has to do with a Loch Ness monster enthusiast? I don't know. He was fixated on the Loch Ness monster. I liked this one. I gave it 4 stars. I love Nessie. I'm sure there is a Nessie too. I actually believe in Nessie, I think. And after this book, totally, I loved it. It was so good. The only thing that I find a little bit of a downside in this, and what keeps me from giving these subsequent books 5 stars, because they are very good, is that the romance is very rushed in here, and you do not actually see a lot of him. He's not very fleshed out, and the fact that she's already getting married after knowing this guy for only, it seems like a few months, it wasn't well fleshed out. And so I take my romance parts in these books pretty seriously and it's not working. It needs something else. But other than that, the mysteries are great. What she tries to tackle in this is fun. The bookshop, the other characters that are in it are fun personalities, just like a cozy mystery is supposed to be. It's just the love interest that's lackluster. For the standalone prompt, I read The Singles Game by Lauren Weisberger. This is the only book that I've read by this author, and I don't think I'm going to pick up any more. Sorry. This is a chick lit sort of novel, and it follows a professional tennis player who is just trying to stay on top. She has an injury at the beginning of the book, and she makes just such poor decisions. You know, I recognize that she's young. I think I might just be too old for this book or something. I don't know. But I just didn't sit with this ambition to just be the best. Like, I don't resonate with that. I don't resonate with the desire for wealth. Like, I just don't, it doesn't sit with me. Like, I don't get it. So, and it seems futile to me to strive for these things at the sake of your own personal relationships and sanity and all the things. And so, like, the tennis parts were interesting. Like, it was interesting to read about tennis and to learn a bit more about the competition circuit. That was kind of cool. But, you know, I didn't like her, and I didn't like anyone in the book. And then, because I have to say it, I mean, it has an open-ended ending, and I hate that. So this did not work for me. I think I'm going to stop there just for the sake of time. I don't want these videos to be too enormously long. So if you have thoughts or comments on any of the things that I read for this first part, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I will talk to you again soon, probably looking very similar to how I am now. All right, bye.